I'm going to share with you a quilted pumpkin, and we're going to paint it. So if you only have the jack-o'-lantern, you can heat these up with your hot air gun and use a spatula or something, and you will be able to slide those off. Basically, we're going to use the wood pumpkin shape. You can purchase this at Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. I was inspired, and so I want to paint a quilted pumpkin with you. So I'm going to remove these pieces. I'm going to keep these because if I do a jack-o'-lantern ceiling fan or another project that I need the face, I already have the pieces. So I've got my parts removed, and as I said, I'll save those. Now what you want to do is put a base color on to your pumpkin. I am going to use Candium Orange by Americana. I do have pumpkin, but you can paint it any color you want. It's going to be a quilted pumpkin. So if you are wanting your main panel that we do to be a pumpkin color or harvest pumpkin or orange or green, whichever you like, that's the base color you want to put on the entire pumpkin. And you'll understand as we go along. In the next step, you are going to want burnt umber. It is a really, really good tracing and shadowing color. It just works really well. You can do a brown, you can do a black as you're shadowing, but burnt umber also helps to give that tone and shading that I'm looking for in most of my colors. To start our quilted painted pumpkin, I'm going to have my number 12 flat brush, and I'm going to use burnt umber. And the first thing we want to do is wet our brush. Okay? Then the next thing is just pat it on to your towel, like literally pat. And we're going to take the burnt umber and make our lines for our quilt. We're going to have our patch squares here, and that's going to get us started. And you can, do like me. Some people put their paint on a palette, and I do that too. But a lot of times on something this small, you use such a small amount, a lot of times I can really, whatever I need is pretty much in the lid. This is not a big sign at all. So basically we're going to line it out, and you see how this point goes to this point. And you have your 4 rows down here, and of course you have 4 up here. So I'm going to see how I fare, and I'm just going to take my flat brush on the edge, and I'm going to draw my brush down to that point. I'm going to bring this one the same way, and I'm just basically making a C with my brush. Now I pretty much have used the paint from that upper side, so I can flip my brush around, and I can go right here and bring this one down to this point. And right here in the middle, I'm kind of wanting that to kind of stand out. But for the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw me a line all the way down to this point. So this section right here is really what I'm mapping out that I want to be my largest part. So what I can do is I can come here and make that a little more rounded, a little more broader. And now I've gotten mine widened out. I'll be able to cover that up. I'm not concerned. I'm just showing you there's no mistakes. That you do not worry about, oh my goodness, I've really messed it up. So now at this point, I want to start, kind of deciding where I want my patches to be. So I'm going to just draw me an area right there. And I kind of want to offset them. I don't want them all to be lined straight up. So since I got my coming all the way over here, I might want to just do 2 on this section, and then once again do maybe 3 on this one, or even 4. And you just map out your little pumpkin however you want to do it. So I'm going to do 1 to here, and let me do some vertical sections there. And this way it really truly looks patchy. Now what we'll do is you'll select a color, and you're going to paint in your square with whatever color you want it to be, because we'll be adding some details in there along the way. So I'm just cleaning my brush, because I'm going to be using this brush to fill in these sections. And these smaller ones, if you don't feel that a number 12 is controllable, then you change out to a brush that you're more comfortable with, that you have more control over. So maybe I want to pick over here to do my yellow. And you can pretty much see what I'm doing. I'm just filling that in. And so I'll do my yellows. And if you feel like you don't get enough pull, the main thing is to keep your brush loaded. You don't want to get it dry and have a hard time getting your paint laid in there. You want to put some paint in there and get it filled in. So whichever direction you need to pull your paint to get that paint filled in. So I have a yellow going there, and if that's too thin, then I can go back and add more to it. So I'm going to go over here and do the same thing, and I'll be back. So let me show you what I have so far. You see how that's laid out, and maybe you have some of these kind of squares not even. Do not worry about those. Just get your squares filled in. Now I'm going to take my original color, because I want this to stay the orange, and I'm going to paint this again, and I'm going to leave this little section orange. But let me show you a trick if you're really concerned about these lines. Now what you'll do is you just kind of get your brush wet. Make sure it's not too damp. And if you stick it straight into the water and just lay it on the towel, just one tap, you can take your brush and just kind of go over those edges. And you see how that smooths that line out? And that paint is already dried. But that little bit of water that you're smoothing down through there can help take out your hard lines if you're real concerned about them. Just straight, pure water. See how that kind of smooths those out a little bit and takes that edge down? We're not worried about it because we're actually going to be doing some highlighting and shading. But if that is really, really a true concern, you can smooth those off, because if you do this, it helps to keep any rollback. See how that's got a rollback there? And if I pat at that and pull it, that will bring that rollback down. And it will smooth it out. Just a little touch of a wet brush. And just smooth it out. And then I can go about this, and I can do all of them like that. Like I can go down the edge with that little bit of water and just smooth that out. It's, just don't do it too wet or you'll have a mess. And so you just want to make sure that your brush is damp or wet but not dripping, and just smooth out those lines. So we have all of our squares painted. I've gone back over my orange, and I do have a little bit of a black stripe in there per se from the burnt umber, but it's not a problem because we're going to be filling in our squares. So here's the trick. I'm going to tell you all the colors I used, and we're going to incorporate those as we put details and elements within our patches. And that's how you get your tones and colors to blend and stay in line with each other and it not look odd. So the dark here is black plum. All of these are Americana. This one is moon yellow. We use pistachio mint, Bahamia Blue, Wisteria, and then this is the Candium Orange that I had used originally. Now outside of that, you'll probably use white and burnt umber. And one more color that you may or may not use will be golden brown. And sometimes you can use like a teddy bear brown, honey brown, just to name a few. The very first element we're going to do are just dots. I'm using another one of my paintbrushes, and I'm going to use the bottom edge of it, and we're just going to do dots. So I believe I'm going to do this on the black plum, and you're just tapping. That's it. Just touch down. And you can turn your sign to where it better suits you, to where you can truly get to it and you're not overextending, and you're just putting dots. Just plain and simple dots. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to match in size, because just like with quilt fabric, when you buy it, you'll have a pattern on it. And that pattern can be as many dots as you like, as big a dots as you like. And that's just going to be the first one that we do, because it's easy and it just shows you that anybody can paint the quilted pumpkin if they really want to. And as you can see, I'm not trying to match them. I'm not trying to make them all the same. I'm just putting them on there. And when you're satisfied and you feel like you've got enough on there, then that's when you stop. Depending on if you want big dots or little dots or teeny tiny dots, because they come in all sorts. And polka dots fabric for quilts is a favorite. So that's one of the ones that you will see all the time. Maybe on this particular one, they're large. So what I can do is I can take a paintbrush. I can actually use one of the bigger ones, and I'm going to get my brush wet. I'm going to touch it on the towel. And this one is my number 6. And I'm just getting some paint. And the way you do this is you can take your brush, you can put it down. I'm going to start in the center just in case I mess up. And you're just going to spin that brush. And that way you can work your brush to be as big a dot as you want. And then I can do another one over here, and maybe I'm going to do it on the side. Just complete your circle if you can, with it being off the edge. And then I'll do the same up here. The only thing about doing the circles when you twist your brush is making sure your brush doesn't slide. And maybe I want to do one right here. I'm going to go really close. That one was almost perfect. Just don't be afraid to lay down that brush. And when you get enough paint on it, it's going to glide correctly for you. And I'm going to make this one right here just a little bit bigger to match the other ones that I did. And there we go. We have some round dots. And right here, based on the inspiration piece that I saw originally, I want to put me some bigger flowers in the center. So I'm going to take my number 12 again, and I'm going to take the burnt umber, which is an excellent color for making the center of flowers. Or I could do that plum. I could actually make the centers out of this plum, because it's not too bad dark. It's kind of a light color. So let me try it and see how it goes. And doing me some, and all I'm going to do on this is take my brush, and I'm just going to kind of pounce it. So that's on its edge. See how it's straight up and down? I'm going to do another one here. And another one down here. I'm just pouncing in the center. That's all I'm doing. I'll do one up here. And I need another one. Feel like I should put another one here. Like how good that one turned out. And let me do one here on the side. And maybe one here on this side. So I know you guys are getting the hang of it and seeing what I'm doing. And I can add more paint to that if I want to. I'm going to do one on the side up here. And that may very well get painted over with the stem. The idea is put your elements on there and then you're working backwards coming forward, if that makes sense. You got your background and you build. I have a rake brush. And what's unique about the rake brush is it almost looks like it's been cut out. See how it's got these real fine hairs? And what's wonderful about it is go ahead and get that brush wet with some fresh water if you have it. You can use the dirty water, it won't hurt it. I am again going to just press that onto my towel. And I'm laying it flat when I press it. I'm just getting the excess water out of it. I'm going to take this Bahamia Blue and I'm going to touch it into that paint. See it like the paint is touched in. And before I do anything, I'm going to slide that brush and clean the extra out of it until I see what type of shape it's going to give me. So I'm going to take this rake brush and I'm going to pick one of these blocks to use this in. I think maybe the mint green or the yellow, but since the yellow is so close to that one, I'm going to do the mint. So I'm going to take my rake brush and I'm literally going to rake across the fabric there, or my square. And I took too much off, so let me try again. And see how it breaks up? That I love that. It makes it just so neat. And now I'm going to do a line this way and a line this way. So we have a whole new design. And as that dries, it's going to look even better. So I'm going to go up here to this mint. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to try to make them match per se. And just keep that extra off. So I'm going to go right down the center. And when that dries, we may be able to put some white in there. So we're going to leave that for now and let it dry. But as you can see, we already have a new design. Actually, I'm going to put a drop. Let me put some mint over there. Just a couple of drops. And then we have this black plum. Put a few drops of that. And I'm going to go ahead and put some white over there to see if we can do a little work. Okay, so we got 3 colors going there. Now, what you want to do here is I have them on my palette. If I touch one side of that rake brush and then the other side in a different color, I have 2 colors. Now, I'm just going to work them right here. See how I'm going one direction, keeping them in line with each other. Now, I have that worked into that rake. And I can go to either one of these that I want and make a design. So let's just do some sideways. So this is going to be tricky because of this rake brush. That turned out real nice. So we're going to go back over here and get some more paint. I want to hit that stripe again. So let me touch it again. Make sure you don't screw up when you do that. Go one direction. I'm going to go to this purple one. I'm going to do the same thing. And just follow through, just like it was a whole piece there. Just follow through. Now I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to touch the palette again. Pick up my paint. I might need some more, so let me blend some more in here. Just keep, you can go upwards if you want to make sure you got it worked in there. Okay. Now on the same one we just did, I'm going to drag it sideways. Pick up some more paint. Once again, I'm going to go up here and I'm dragging my brush sideways. And as you can see, this has already dried. So we could go in there with a secondary color and give it some more. And now we've got these squares done. So as we keep adding, it'll just get better and better. Let's take our number 6 flat brush. I'm going to put one side in the orange and one side in the white. And blend them. And let's go here within our teal. And let's do some flowers. Little bitty ones. We're just going to pull upward and out. Upward and out. Upward and out. Upward and out. And then you're going to have to touch back down into your paint. Pick up some more. And we're going to do another one over here. We've got our white going up first. So we're going to do up and out. Up and out. Might have to go back over this with some white. Touch some more white. Let's go back over those petals. Got too much white. Let me work that out. Just blend it out. Sometimes you can put it on your towel when it muds like that. Let me just leave them good and wet. Up and out, up and out. Because there ain't no right or wrong about it. I'm going to put another one here. It's hard to do flowers with a number 6. As you can see, is really hard because the blades of your brush are so small that a lot of times it gets mudded, and it's just hard to keep those colors separated because the bristles on these brushes want to blend really good. And so sometimes you just have to go back and hit it. Then you can just follow through with some more of the other. And a lot of times just that doing one on top of the other does just as well. Those don't look like much right now, but give them a chance to calm down. So let's go up here, and instead of doing white, let's just do some little mini pumpkins. And what's cool about the mini pumpkins is you basically just do a dash, just two little lines, two little lines, two little lines. Okay, we'll leave them. Let them dry a moment. We'll revisit. And I just go do a little round at the bottom. Okay, so let them dry a moment and let our flowers dry a moment. So now we need to decide a pattern to put on our yellow. Alright, so we're going to take our Wisteria with our little tiny number 6 brush, and we're just going to load it up with a Wisteria real quick. This is the purple. And I'm going to take a little bit of water, and over here on my little palette where I already did some blending, I'm going to water that down a little bit because it is thick. Over a period of time that happens. So I'm going to pick up some out of this and just blend it in there real good. Go here to the bottle. Get some. We won't need a lot of this, but I do need to unmud it per se. So I'm gonna get that on that little number 6. Okay. And on the yellow, I'm just gonna dash, 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 dash. Then offset it the opposite. Then again. It might be too close to do anything down here, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to pick up some more of it. And maybe on this yellow one, I'm going to stand up on my brush. And I'm going to just pull a line. Dash, dash, dash. Pull a line. Dash, dash, dash. Pull a line. Dash, dash. There's a pattern. I'm going to pick up some more. And I'm going to try to just do a little break. In there. Almost like a square, almost like tic-tac-toe per se. And there's another pattern done. And then in this one, let's change up the color. Let's say we use maybe the plum, the black plum here. Let's do some black plum. And I'm going to work it into my brush. That's all I'm doing. Just taking that black plum, working it in my brush. And then I'm going to actually touch the white. That's all it is, single touch to the white. And I'm going to do straight, just go across there, just little straights. As you see, they're not perfect. And we have that one done. Now we can start putting the little stem on our pumpkin. Now we can do that with our pistachio if we want to, or we can deepen up our green. We can do it about anything, but since I have this pistachio up here, I'm going to just work it into my bristles. And the same as we did the pumpkin, just going to do a line, a line, a line, a line. And that has them taken care of. Now, on this one, so that they don't look so starry, let's take some white, put it into our brush, and let's water it down a little bit. Let's kind of water that white down just a tad. And just touch on the towel and pick up what we watered down. And right here in this purple, I'm just doing an underline. And all I'm doing is adding to my pattern, making it unique, just like fabric would be. And that fills in those blanks that were there before. Since I have my watered down white, I'm going to change brushes, and I'm going to take and grab my rake brush again, and I'm just going to run it through that watered down white and pull some fresh into it and blend it out. Just pull it and blend it out. I want to add a little more water over there, so I want to pull that out. Now, just to make sure, I'm going to soak up the difference on my towel and then pick it up. I want it really light. See how fine a white it is? And this that we did right here with the Bahamia Blue, I'm just going to take a single stroke, pick up my white, single, single, single. Now, pick up some more, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now I'm going to water it down a little bit because it's getting too heavy. And again, I'm going to touch my towel to take out the difference. Now I'm going to do my straight strokes. How's that looking? Pretty good, right? Pretty good. I love this this watered down white. Really, really good. So I'm going to rake up here. Let's see what kind of, let me kind of do a dash. Yes, I like it. Now, with that white right there, let me see how it would look if I add some of this black plum in those straight lines. See the little straight? I'm going to go right down beside of it. So I'm making a plaid. You know how plaids have just a little bit of one dark line, then the rest of them will be real light. I'm going above the white one. And just that quick, you can have all these different patterns going on your pumpkin for your patchwork. And it doesn't look like a whole lot right now. It looks really busy, but that's the whole idea, is a quilted patchwork, your quilted pumpkin sign. And we need to fix our flowers now. So I'm going to park my rake brush again. This is a filberts. It is round on the end. And what's really grand about the filbert brush, get it wet, and then we're going to just, once again, lay it on the towel. It makes petals just with the shape of the brush. It's really clever and just a neat, quick way to make flower petals. So now we might want to just go something shocking, but I think the yellow, the moon yellow, for petals, and maybe mixed in with a different color, maybe the Bahamia Blue, and make flowers here. And we haven't finished with this flower over here, so let's touch our brush bottom into the white and just tap. One tap. And now suddenly they're flowers. Cute little. So we've gotten our filbert brush wet. We've touched our towel. We have our paints ready. And we're going to put petals on these flowers. And it is straight up just blend it into that brush. And you can do that by moving it back and forth, whichever you like. Or you can just pull it and flip it over and pull it. And once you got your filbert brush loaded, the round part is at the top. So when you pull, you're just touching and pulling. So if you want those petals longer, you're going to have to go up further. And I am really truly just touching it and pulling. Touch and pull. Touch and pull. And then you can, again, you can decide, you know, which ones you want doing that. If you want them every other, because we're going to put a secondary one in here too. And the filbert brush just really is just a stress-free way to make flowers. I mean, it's just simple. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3. Let's do another one down here. So there we have yellow flowers. Just cute as can be. And you could pull them down further into your circle if you wanted to. So right now we're experimenting. We're just making some flowers on there. So we're going to go in with our Bahamia Blue. And we're going to go ahead and create another flower. This time we're going to pull those petals in further. Press down a little more. And let's create some white ones. Since we have some white there, just touch our brush on the towel. We're going to pick up this white. And maybe with these, we'll do it really small. So far, they're looking really, really cute. Now, since I have this white on this velvet brush, I just want to take the very edge of that velvet brush and just go within. I'm just going part of the way inward. Let me go all about that center. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Just go in a little bit and then around it. Let's go up here and do this one. Now let's go ahead and do our blue. And if you notice with the blue, I left it a little bit dry. I didn't like retouch it. And that'll just give it some difference. Now, I want to put just a few petals of white in here. But I'm going to turn it up on the side. And I want to pull inward just slightly, like a half of the velvet brush. And it's almost like highlighting the upper half of that flower. And that's just going to make those individual petals appear a little bit more so. So let me get some white on here. And now that I've got that loaded, I have to be extra light. So see how that's looking to you. Now with the yellow, I didn't put any white in there to separate out the petals. But what I can do is with our deeper color, when we start doing that, we will do something more on there. Maybe even with the burnt umber, we might do a little bit more. Let's see, I'm going to touch my filbert in there, in that burnt umber. And this, you got to watch it because this is dark. So let's go within the white and on the edge. I'm just kind of hitting at it. I'm not really trying to do something major here. I'm just trying to hit within that. Going within. Give them a little bit deeper centers. I'm brushing upwards towards the petals. Almost like a sunflower. I don't even know what kind of flowers we want to call these. Whether we want to call them buttons. It's just that when you start tinkering with this and you're practicing, if you tinker enough, you're going to discover things in painting that you wouldn't have otherwise. And you shouldn't be afraid, because if you're depending on somebody to tell you what to do every time, you won't make discoveries of your own. And we all know that when we discover something, we can surprise ourselves, and it's quite fun. You feel a sense of accomplishment. Okay, now this looks grand, but to change it up a little bit, even though I love the way this looks, I still think that I want to put some leaves in here, and I don't want to use the Pistachio Mint. Even though I did not mention another color, I am going to actually bring in another color. So I'm going to stick with Avocado since we are in the Americana paints that I'm using. And by doing that, they will all work well together. The Americana colors work really, really well together. Now, I'm going to change my brush. And with this one, I'm going to get my number 6. And I'm just going straight into that paint. I'm going to kind of put that extra over here on my little palette, because I want to make sure that I've got that there. And I'm not going to need a whole lot of them. Now, this is just a push and pull. That's it. So I'm going to go right here at these petals right here. And I'm just going to push and pull. Push and pull. And I'm just going to put just a few on each one of these flowers. And yes, you can go right on top of those petals. Push and pull. Push, pull. Push, pull. And that's all you're doing. Pushing and turning at a 45-degree angle and lifting as you pull it. Push and pull. Lay it down. Start turning it at a 45 and lifting up. And just that one color can really, really make a difference. Now I'm going to water down some white with this number 6. And as you see, I've kind of got my brush still dirty with the green. And I'm just watering down that white there. Pulling it out. I'm going to take the difference, put it on my towel, just like that. And right there on those leaves that we just made, just a one little dash. You can touch it per se. See, that's what makes it so perfect is the imperfection. We didn't even have to work hard at it. We just did it. We just plain did it. Now this yellow right here, I'm not liking this pattern. This purple to me is just, I don't know. I'm just not crazy about it. So I'm going to take this Bahamia Blue. I'm going to mix it with this Avocado green. And that will help pull in my leaves a little better. Now, I don't know what color we're going to get here, but it almost looks moss colored. And I'm going to see if I can't just pull at these pieces right here. This almost looks like lattice. And I'm going to take some of that paint out. Let me get my towel. Take some of that paint out. And then these over here, I'm going to go in front of them. And see, if you don't like something, you can always add to it and fix it. Make it work to help you and make you content with it. Now, I still have that Bahamia Blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I guess, a dot or dash or something. I thought about putting flowers on top of it. So I'm just going to put some marks in here. I don't know what kind of pattern I made, but I'm doing something. So that just, even with that mess, it just looks like a good mess. It looks better to me than what it was. And so far, everything looks great. Now, on these, I love these patterns right here, but I do want to put a little bit of depth in there, just some deepness. So, let me try the avocado that I blended up here. I mixed up a little bit. I want something deeper in here. Now, I'm just going to make a single line like I did on the other. I'm not trying to make it a perfect line. I'll run it through there. Let's do a upper one, lower, upper, lower, upper. This time I'm going to go crossways, but I'm going to do my crossways a little different because of the crossways pattern I got going here. And then on this one, I really like that. Okay, so let me take this deeper avocado that I added with that mixture of the Bahamia Blue, and I'm going to go back over these little stems for something that we were calling a pumpkin, but and that way you pull your colors in. You make things match and you fix them to where they're more suitable for what it is that you're doing. And the dots right here, I really like my dots. I like those. I think I'm just going to leave them as they are. I love this pattern, the way it turned out. Fantastic. And everything just looks really, really good. So if you are content with what you've created, then you leave it. Otherwise, you do something more. Now, this block, and maybe even this block, I'm going to take the orange that's this background here, and I'm going to add something over here. I'm going to kind of do a little additive in the little square areas. And on this one, I'm going to do some dots. So now we are going to do our shading and highlighting to finish our quilted patchwork pumpkin. We're going to use burnt umber, and we may end up using some of the golden brown. It just depends on how well we pull this off. So we're going to take our burnt umber. Now, there is a trick to doing this. So put down just a little bit of burnt umber, something that you're comfortable with. It don't have to be a lot. You're going to be using water, and this is a number 8 flat brush, and it's got enough broadness to it. If it doesn't work out, then I'll go to my number 10 or my number 12, and we should get what I'm wanting to do here. I truly haven't done this in a while. Water is going to be your best friend in doing this shading, and we had done our lines originally with burnt umber, but now that we put our patchwork on our pumpkin, that's kind of blended in now. So we're just going to take and get our brush wet. So you're going to touch it in your clean water. You're going to touch your towel, and then you're going to take one corner and pull the burnt umber. So you got water on one side and burnt umber on the other. So just one side. Now, once you do that, you're probably going to have to touch your towel again to soak up the excess. And you can go back to your palette, and you may have to pick up some more water, because you got to really go at this in a way that doesn't overcompensate. So once again, I'm going to touch my towel. Actually, I'm going to touch it on both sides. So I'm going to go back and revisit that and pick up the water and the burnt umber. And all you're going to do is the side with the burnt umber on it, you're going to put it against the one and put water against the other. I hope that makes sense to you. So you're going to have water coming to the left and burnt umber on the right, because we're going to go down beside this center. And so we're just going to pull it down. And you can be consistent with it if you want to, and go all the way down. And then you're going to work it back up. And you're just going to blend at that. And you just got to trust in the process. So make sure when you go back to your palette and you pick up water and burnt umber, that you're keeping that burnt umber on the rightful side when you go back down. And if it doesn't look right to you, then while it's wet, you can use your towel. So we're just going back and forth, back and forth. And I've got a heavier line up here, so I'm going to take my towel and just very lightly pat at it and try to pick it up. A lot of times you can blend it in when you get your brush wet. So I'm going back up here, and I'm going to put the burnt umber closer to this side. And since I'm not happy with that deep mark, I'm going to pick me up some water, and I'm going to bring it right down there. And you see how I'm clearing that out? And I'm going to bring it towards the line. Just doing a sweeping effect to fix that. It's just too much. And I pretty much seem to have it watered down too much. So I'm going to take that off. Let's try that again. Go back over here and put some water on this side. Touch my towel. Pick up my burnt umber. And I'm going to go right here and put the burnt umber against this side and keep the water line against my orange. So I run out. Once again, wet, and see right there where I've already been? I'm going to touch that burnt umber and just tracing out that side. And sometimes you just have to go down through there 2 or 3, 4 or 5 times until you get it like you want it. And now that I've got that too far over, I'll go back and fix it. I'm just showing you that even when you hadn't done it in a while, this is what happens. You get messed up. You mess yourself up because you go too long without practice. So you don't do as good. So I'm going to go back to that burnt umber again. Let me just lay it sideways and try to trail it. I'm trying to trace out my edge there. And I've got it so far over now and so deep. I'm just going to have to go over it until I get it erased, per se. And the only way you can do that is with the water. Just have to put the water on it and make sure that you get it up. You got to be real careful when you do that. Alright, let's try this again. It's hard as heck, so make sure your brush is wet and you got burnt umber. You want to trace it that's much better. Now while I can, I'm going to get this out of here before it dries. And that's how you fix it when you overdo it. When you get darkness where you don't want darkness. While it's wet, you can work with it. You can get it out of there. And that's actually that line bleeding through that I had done originally on that orange. So now you see how we got the burnt umber, so we can actually do a little bit more of that burnt umber over here. So get it wet, touch your towel, pick up your burnt umber, and remember, only the side that's got the burnt umber, you are tracing out the pumpkin. And it's difficult to do this standing up, I'll just tell you. And you can do this in burnt umber, or you could do it in black. Okay, so we've worked on that. Now we've got that side. Let's do these other ones. Once again, keep on one side of the brush wet with water, burnt umber on the other. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to lay that burnt umber right on that line. I'm just going back with the original. You can make them darker if you once you get comfortable doing this whole motion here. And see, I'm doing better by leading down that line versus laying it wide. Unless you just want it broad. I'm going to go right here and do these. Remember, keep that one side wet with water so that when you're pulling, you're going to get that evenness that you want. Your towel is your best friend when you're doing this. Okay, so I'm going to lead with my water and my burnt umber, and my water side is the upper, burnt's on the bottom. And again, so how's that looking? See how it's popping and standing out more? That's the difference, and it does make a huge difference. Now, what you can do is, now that you've done the burnt umber on one side, you can take the golden brown, and you're basically going to do the same thing, but you're going to be turning the golden brown to the outer side. So you just a drop or so, and clean your brush, touch your towel, pick up some water, and then go up there and start doing the same thing, blending it out. Touch the towel, blend it out. And if you feel like you're going to get it too wet, okay, now this time the golden brown is going to be on the outside, and your water side is going to be near your burnt umber. So now we've got that much done. With the pumpkin stem, you can go ahead and paint it. I'm going to do burnt umber on it and then go back and hit it with a lighter color. I'll probably use that golden brown. And I always come down a little bit and make it like an actual pumpkin stem. Then once that dries, I'll do it again. Put a little bit lighter color in it. And now it's a matter of, sealing it. Make sure that you sign it. You want to make sure that and you can write a word on here if you want to put something like grateful, thankful, blessed, your name, like your home, your last name. You can put that on there and personalize it and really make it truly your own. And then I had already painted the back side. I have a little bit of blue there, so I'll cover that up with some orange and fix that. But do sign and date your pieces, and if you personalized them for someone, that's all the more better. So let me finish letting that dry and fix that stem, and I'll be back to tell you some more. Alright, for final touches, you're going to mix your two together, or if you're just using black or burnt umber, and water it a little bit when you mix them together, and you're just going to go around the outside edge of your sign so that your Patchwork Pumpkin sign starts to come together, and kind of highlighting it and really bringing it forth. And it just kind of is a finishing touch to close off those sides and edges. And it is just the slightest amount. Like I said, you might be doing yours with black versus burnt umber, or the golden honey, or honey brown, teddy bear, whichever of those that you choose to do. I'm using burnt umber and the golden brown, and it just kind of really accentuates it and just kind of brings it all together. Now there's one last step. In order to truly make this look like a quilt, we need to take a liner brush, and I have my liner brush here. This is a narrow liner, and you can put it in the burnt umber, and you just really want to roll it and pull, roll and pull. And maybe I've got enough there, just going to take the tip of it, and you're going to make like there are stitches, and you're just really staying on the tip. So it's almost like an X, but it's not. So you'll do a long dash, like so. Then you'll just a little half mark, and you'll do that all the way around. You can space them further apart, closer together, and you know the idea is to keep paint on the tip. See, they're not perfect, and once your sign is finished painting and it's dry, you can put a sealer on this if it's going to be hung outside, but just put a sealer on it. It does not have to be a heavy duty sealer, but you do need a sealer on it nonetheless. So again, we're just doing dashes or lines, and then a dash just above them, so it all pulls together, and then dash. So I have placed Mod Podge to seal my Patchwork Quilt Pumpkin sign, and it is looking marvelous. I have signed it, as dated it, and it is finished. So do make your own quilted patchwork pumpkin sign and paint it up, and do it in different patterns, and be sure to tag me and show it off to me. You'll find all the links in the description box down below, and I'll list all the paints in the description box if you are interested in using them. And once again, they are all the Americana DecoArt, and easy to find. Great paints, and they complement each other, so you can always get that primitive look and that rustic look with the Americana. And I think it turned out wonderful. All I have to do now is add some twine or some wire and hang it up, and it would even make a good leaning sign as well. If you'd rather purchase than to make, check out dandysoap.com/shop to find things like this and all the things that I've been making on the channel. So do enjoy it and make one of your own, and let me know how you do. Until the next DIY, this is Elizabeth, and we have completed our how to paint a patchwork quilt pumpkin sign. So until the next DIY, I'll be crafting, y'all.